Welcome and/or welcome back to Off the Reel.
A Knight's Tale.
Let's do it. So, A Knight's Tale is about a squire. His knight dies, unbeknownst to the rest of the world, and this squire decides to take up his mantle without anyone knowing. And eventually he goes on to become his own knight under a fake name with the help of a writer, Geoffrey Chaucer. And from then on, he just tries to be champion of the world and changes stars. Let's jump right into it. Point number 1, creativity. Did you give the point for creativity?
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
Why? I agree.
You agree? The way they set it up, honestly, and they added many modern day.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what I'm
allow me
saying.
to elaborate.
Yeah. I'm out of it today.
What they do with the modern day stuff is they use what we call anachronisms.
Thank you.
Irregularities. They use these anachronisms to make the medieval times relatable to we modern day folk. As in, like, they use music, hairstyles, hair dye, clothing. They use strange clothing options, which kind of goes unnoticed, but, like, not to your subconscious. Modern day slang, stuff like that.
A lot of things that would draw us closer to the movie and actually, like, relate to it better, make us want to keep on watching.
And me personally, I think it really paid off.
Oh,
a lot of people don't. This movie has a 56% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's so bad.
It is my personal favorite movie ever, and I think it's just an atrocity.
So hey, if you haven't rated it, if you haven't voted on like any kind of website where they rate it, go do it and give it 100.
Like put it all the way up there.
5 stars, 100, whatever it is.
Because for some reason, some people did not take to the irregularities. They want like historical purity, which you're not gonna get with like
go
any
watch a documentary
movie.
if you want to hear something about history. God.
I personally am I'm someone who does not care at all about historical purity, but we'll get into that later. And then the other thing is we've all seen, like, remember the Titans, A Field of Their Own. Yeah. We've seen every sports movie out there. Happy Gilmore. We've seen it all. But this, at its very core, is a sports movie set in medieval times.
And people, when they watch it, they just think it's a normal, like, medieval kind of movie. Okay, jousting. They don't really think of it as a sport.
People have also given it crap for how many jousting scenes there are.
It's all about the sport of jousting.
It's 100% about jousting.
And they're like, oh, too many jousting scenes.
It's a sports movie. At its very core, it is a sports movie set in medieval times. And that's what sets it apart from all the other boring-ass sports movies there are.
It's basically, like, the people that are voting bad are saying, oh, it's like, I watched BMS, too many football scenes, hated it, terrible.
I watched BMS. There was too much comedy.
Too much comedy, terrible. I saw a lot of alcohol, no, none of that.
Yeah, they made stupid jokes about, like, gay stuff and, like, nudity. Not my cup of tea.
Okay,
like, you walked into something and you knew what you were going in for, and you're dissing it for the very concept of the movie.
For the thing you knew you were going in for.
Like, I don't know. But yeah, so full point for creativity. Thanks. So next we'll jump into point number 2, the plot of the movie.
Wait, before we go, explain plot again.
Plot? That's like what actually happens in the movie, how it progresses with the pacing.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. Everything like that.
Okay.
So I gave it the point.
Full plot. Full point.
Full point?
All the the way it progresses so smoothly, like starting off.
There are almost no lulls in this movie.
None. Like, because they even showed, I mean, I know there are a lot of movies that do this, but at the same time, there are a lot of movies that don't. They even showed him, like, training for it. Like, just being a squire and actually training for it, working his way up.
Yeah.
And I thought, like, just the way that they did that was just perfect. It was so smooth.
Yeah, like it, and they do take a break from the action a lot, and I don't remember what movie I watched recently, but like it's like they take a break. Oh no, it was The Walking Dead. We were talking about when they take a break from the action, it's just boring as hell.
It's terrible.
But you go into this movie and like when they take a break from the action, it's still bringing you in. It's still keeping you involved.
I feel like part of it is something that we talked about earlier, which some movies don't do this. Say what you will. I feel like the love story aspect of it was a big part of it. This is one movie where I don't mind the love story because it feels natural for the time. Yeah, and it was like really good the way they put it all together. I mean, all of it kept you interested. You wanted to watch more.
Like the love story is part of the conflict in this movie. It's not just a side thing.
I mean,
it's actually
if you love me, you might as well fail. Might as well fail.
You might as well. And then another thing for the plot is I thought the moments like during the jousting. I mean, you never know you know that William is going to beast his way through all of the jousting.
Oh yeah,
but I don't know, something about it.
There's like
you still keep the suspense in every jousting scene.
It's because like when he's jousting, while he's jousting, in some of the scenes they still add the love aspect into it because you never know, is he gonna do well this round or is he gonna do bad based on how he's feeling? Because you remember the one scene he was absolutely in love with her, absolutely just dead in love with her. Then the next hates her,
and I'll get into his character with that later, but I feel like the end, like all that happens in the climax and below, like it's all very rewarding for me. Like everything that happens with his father and the romance, Adamar, all of it. It's a very rewarding conclusion. Not to say that like just because it ends good, it's rewarding. Just like it,
all of it coming together.
Like
it was all.
It worked very well.
Very sad conclusion.
I don't know. It was such a like the first time you watched the movie. I don't know. You said that the second time the suspense was a little drop for you because you knew how it was going to turn out.
It's weird because there are a lot of movies that I really like. When I watch it again, the suspense will keep me going, and I'll be like, I know exactly what's going to happen, but I'm still on the edge of my seat. I feel like just the movie, the way it was set up, it kept me so calm at some points, but yet so excited at some others. When I knew what was going to happen, I was like, I'm happy for him. Good for him. Good for him.
But the first time you watch it, like it's.
Oh yeah, I was on the edge of my seat.
It's oof.
I was like, because when he got put in the the shackles or whatever, I was like,
I've seen so much.
I was like, he's not gonna make it out. He got it. And then freaking King in the Hood just.
They all just bring out their giant sword. Everybody's like, okay, I'm sorry. But all right, so we'll move on from that. Full point for plot, 2 points in, 2 points earned. Number 3, characters.
Yep.
Yeah.
Full point. If you have not seen this movie, you've got to go see
the movie.
You gotta go see
Please.
I'm gonna be very surprised.
I don't want to spoil this movie for anyone.
I'm gonna be so surprised if we don't make it all the way down the list without 10 points.
Like no one has seen this movie. I grew up with this movie. This was my childhood movie.
I didn't grow up with it, but I'm very thankful that you introduced me to it.
This movie was the movie I probably watched the most as a child. I don't know why. I don't know why my parents and brothers and all. I don't know why my family had this movie around for me to watch so much.
Mine was Indiana Jones. I grew up.
That's a good one.
But this one's.
But like, just
go see.
I've never met someone that has seen this movie. Never. But I love it. Okay, so characters. My bad. A little sidetrack there. Let's just get like William, excluding Heath Ledger. Just the character of William is the classic, like great, like very well-rounded character, but he has that one fatal flaw that just brings the hero down. He's that very classic type of character.
I feel like they all played their roles very well. I feel like when and I will say this, some people could bash me for this. Most of the characters, except for Heath Ledger or William, the actual actors, I've never seen them. So I feel like the people they chose.
Well, I'm not talking about the actors. I'm talking about the characters.
Yeah,
themselves.
the people they chose. I'm bringing that into it. They played their character, so their characters were just perfect. Oh, my bad.
No, we're
cut that part out.
we're just talking about the concept of these characters right now.
Okay,
William.
So William. I didn't have a problem with William.
I don't have a problem with William either. Like William is a great character
perfect.
because he fits that classic fatal flaw. Like his pride, his desire to be something greater than what he is, leads him down a very rough road.
It's like the classic. That's like what the hero does.
Every Shakespeare character.
But at the same time, it's like the way he does it. You're just like.
You feel it.
Crap.
You feel it. You're like, man, you change your stars. You do it.
And
then Watt. Love
Watt.
Yeah, you gotta love Watt.
Yeah, the anger issues, everything. It's
I'll get into Alan Tudyk in a minute, but like, he's so good. Like, I don't know what it is about his character, but it's probably just Alan Tudyk himself. But that's not part of it. Just the anger issues and always wanting to fog people.
It's like
I figure you would say flog.
I think of him as like a very loyal dog. You know, he loves his owner or master, but when somebody else tries to intrude, he's just so mad.
I guess that's an appropriate description. Yeah, like he's got those anger issues and he's a stubborn person, but like in the end, like when stuff is getting down and he has to like be a friend to William, like he's good in his heart. And then Roland,
the fat one.
They don't call him that. Roland is just a like teddy bear, man.
When I watched it the first time, that's what I referred to him as. He's a very fluffy one.
Yeah, Roland. He's such a good friend.
He's so calm. I like him.
He's the voice of reason among the group.
There's like
William.
There's Watt, the freaking
the neurotic one.
Yeah, and then there's William. He's just the
hell bent on changing his stars.
Yeah. And then there's freaking Roland, and he's the one. He's like the granddad coming in. Everybody, calm down.
And then Geoffrey Chaucer. In fact, for those of you who don't know that have seen this movie, and those of you that this movie is based on the Canterbury Tales by Geoffrey Chaucer, and Geoffrey Chaucer was written into this movie, and he's great. Jeffrey Chaucer is amazing.
When I first watched it, I looked at him and I was like, I can already tell I'm not gonna like this character. When it went on, I was just like,
he has the best character intro in all of movie history.
I kept on watching. I was like
his eccentricity and his literary genius.
The only time I've ever had something where I ended up liking a character was with a show, and even then it took several episodes. This one, right when I met him, I hated him. Right after, like in the next few scenes, boom, loved him. Just like that.
Well, he wears the coat.
Oh yeah, the coat.
It just looks so good. Like freaking the only person that wears that is Edward. Now let's talk about Edward, the king or the future king.
Yeah, the future.
He's a beast. Although I don't know, he's kind of like he wants to go out there and be somebody new, but he keeps getting let down because everybody is such a weenie that they won't fight him.
Yeah. And then William comes in.
It's not like he's an excellent jouster or anything. Like he's not very good at jousting. He just wants to.
Yeah, he wants to be like he's a soon-to-be king that just wants to have fun
and like dominates entire countries.
Yeah, dominate. That's background stuff.
But yeah,
he's a badass.
Like he's a badass at heart, but as far as actually engaging in jousting, he's not good.
No.
He's not great.
I feel like you know.
But he just wants to be a normal guy.
You find out he's a badass with the whole hood scene.
Yeah, with the whole hood scene. And as such is beyond contestation. All right, now let's get into my guy Adamar. I love Adamar just because I love a good villain. I think he's a good villain.
Me going back to the whole love story, because you know I'm a fan of that in most movies. I don't like him.
You don't like him?
No, I don't like him because it's in a lot of movies. I should expect it.
Is it because you don't like him as a person, or is it you don't like his character?
You mean like when you say as a person, you mean
like
his
you don't
actor?
you don't no I mean you don't like Adamar because he's a douche, or you don't like how his character engages in the plot, like
him as a person.
Okay. I
feel like as a villain, he does absolutely
like
amazing.
he's an awesome villain.
Oh yeah, by far. Like, and his theme song and all that. I mean, that's later. But
such
still.
a good theme song. But yeah,
that's later. But still,
the thing I love about Adamar is like he's just as flawed as William is. Like he has an extremely inflated ego, but it is 100% based on him putting down other people. And like the thing about him is he needs, and you can see it, but I'll get into that in a minute. He needs validation. He needs to know that he is better than someone, and he needs to know it like.
Because like the scene where William is dancing, I can't remember her name, when they're like at the
Jocelyn.
Yeah, Jocelyn. I don't know why the angel without a name. But anyways,
I'm gonna get into some of that into acting.
Okay, all right, yeah, I'll leave that.
But I don't know, I love that about him, like, and a lot of it has to do with the acting. Yeah, Rufus Sewell, like, just, and then yeah, what did you think of Jocelyn?
Other than her character was impacted the plot very well. She was just another character for me. That's really it.
Yeah, I mean, she like, I mean, I guess all women would prefer, but she doesn't take shit. She really doesn't. She don't take anything. Like she manhandles William sometimes.
I like Jocelyn, but there's one character I really want to go to, and it involves Roland, her assistant. I can't remember her name or.
Oh man, Christiana.
The whole background story going on with
it's
her.
It's so nice. Like, first time he shows up, Roland is just like
he's just
that. And it's in the background too.
Story, it's so most people don't catch that.
Like it never just jumps into it. It's in the background of him just like always chatting up Christiana.
And like every time she comes in to deliver a message or something to William, he just comes and he's like right when he sees her. I just love that. Yeah, that was amazing.
It's good. All right, so full point for characters. Moving on to acting. Yes.
I'm pretty sure for all of these we can give it.
We'll work on that. So acting. I cannot even find a weak point in acting in this movie.
Not at all.
It's excellent all the way around.
Even like I think you pointed out it. Forgive me if I'm quoting you wrong. When they were showing Jocelyn and William, when they were like, or I can't remember who. It may have been the assistant or what's his name? I don't know how to say it.
Chaucer.
Yeah, Chaucer is going to tell him that Jocelyn was there to watch William, like in the tournament at the end. You could even see him like in most movies. It's just them. Everybody's either in the back standing still, or they're just randomly moving their arms to make it look like they're cheering. Yeah, you could see them in the back. They were talking, and everybody was engaging.
I noticed that. I was like, he's talking to Jocelyn back there.
So like the acting, everything, it was all just so perfect.
First off, let's just talk about Heath Ledger. More like Heath Legend. Dude's amazing in everything. I don't know whether I like him or Leo better. Like
it's gotta. I know you're having trouble. It's gotta be Heath. I love. It's gotta be Ledger.
But yeah, he's
just so. His
acting skills. I just wanted a movie with them together, but it never happened. Yeah, no, of course he's an incredible actor. And one thing I want to talk about that I don't know, we've never even discussed this while we've watched the movie, but Heath Ledger, Alan Tudyk, and Mark Addy together, especially in the training scenes and stuff like that, like, you can just see how good of friends these three dudes are. Like, they portray it so well. I don't know whether they did some kind of method acting where they just hung out for like 3 years with each other before this movie got made, but like, you feel so much brotherhood between them.
And especially like when it comes to them discussing money and all that, and the way how, also the training scenes, you know, most movies they would have it to where it'd be them training, getting along, and then a hardcore fight. Them, it was just, you know, like what you would see in an actual family, playing around, fighting in moments like this, and having fun together at the same time. I mean, it was all, the way they tied themselves together, perfect.
And then enters Paul Bettany. I don't know if it's Bettany or Bettany or whatever. I'm gonna call it Bettany though. Jeffrey Chaucer. His acting is great.
Perfect.
And he's really good in everything he does too. Like, he plays Vision. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he plays Vision, and I think he's really good as Vision and Jarvis.
Actually, well, I mean, I didn't know that, but now I can see it.
The voice.
I see it now.
Yeah. And he also played, and this is such a small role, but I loved the movie, A Series of Unfortunate Events, which you haven't seen, but you love Jim Carrey, so it's kind of... He plays Lemony Snicket, the author of that, so he's narrating, but you do cut to like little scenes of him typing on a typewriter. And like, I don't know, even in that, he's still really good. I really like his work. But like, he just captures all of the eccentricities.
I'd say my favorite scenes of him would be announcing.
Oh, of course.
William.
Of course.
That's like, when you see him announcing William before jousting events, that's him acting at his rawest form. It's so perfect.
Yeah, he's great in all those. Like, those are some of the best scenes in the movie, and it's all because of Paul Bettany.
Yeah.
And then Adamar, Rufus Sewell. He's not in much, but he's in this, and in this he kills it.
His acting, I can't get over. For some reason, the only thing I hear in my mind.
Dude's got mad eye twitches, man.
The only thing, when I hear his name, I can't help it. The only thing I think is his character sucks. But his acting was like him being a villain. Is there any movie where he's like he plays it?
Dude, I don't know any movies with him in it off the top of my head.
If there are movies with him in it,
he hasn't been in much this big. I don't think, at least.
Him being a villain was just.
He's such a good villain.
God.
It
was so good.
The scene, like when you see him leaving the dance.
Yeah.
And when you see, I'll get into the next one in a second, but like he's breaking out like a nervous sweat, and you just see like in his eyes and his face and everything that you just see that like he lost this battle.
And I love it because he doesn't just sort of jump into him getting all upset about it. The way he builds up to him being upset at the dance, and the way he challenges him first, like,
and he doesn't just storm out all grumpy, like he is lost in his emotions. Yeah, like when he doesn't get what he needs, it tears him apart, and the actor is so good at showing that. Like, gosh, that's one of my favorite parts of the movie is his acting whenever he feels unvalidated in his conquest.
I'd say I did see in my opinion, it sort of seemed like his acting wasn't all that good. I found like sort of a weak point.
Really?
In my opinion. It was when he was, I don't know why, I could be completely wrong, it may just me be overthinking. When in the beginning, when he was talking to Jocelyn, I don't know why, in that I just felt like the way he was talking to her and all that, it just wasn't really him trying to flirt with her. Like, I feel like that was the goal.
Wasn't.
It wasn't? Like,
well, here's the thing. He's a man who, in his mind, gets what he wants.
Yeah.
So he's going to get... Like, he doesn't have to woo Jocelyn. He's just going to list off his achievements. And he's like, Jocelyn's just going to be mine.
So that was just me looking at it wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, and then the scene where William is in the stocks, in the dark prison cell.
Oh, yeah.
And he comes to visit, like, oh, it's so good. So good.
The way he, like, spaces out his lines when he goes, you have been weighed. Punch.
But yeah, but my favorite part of it is after he delivers his lines, gives the 3 punches, and he's talking to William like, you've been beat. I don't remember exactly what he said, actually. I'm kind of sad that I don't. But like, William just looks at him and then just looks away and goes back to wallowing in his cell. And that just does not sit well. Like, he's like, say something. Admit I beat you. Like, he just, so much builds up in his mind. And he's like, and like, he just has to get one last punch in just because he didn't get the validation that he wanted out of it.
The fact that, like, that happens in real life all the time, and he did that with his acting. God, and he played it off so perfect.
Yeah. So, let's get off of him. We talked about him enough. You know what scene I'm going to now. Like,
No.
the acting, like, the most emotional scene in the movie.
Oh.
The reuniting of the Thatchers. Bro.
I seriously had tears coming to my eyes. I was sitting there
It's
watching
such a sad scene.
I was like, Carson.
Every
don't
time
do
I
it.
feel my eyes get a little moist. Like, God, Christopher, I'm going to say Casanova.
I didn't write down.
I did. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but like, he's so good in that scene. All of his scenes, really, but like, God, he just
And that one
brings the
scene.
emotion.
Even like, I felt like.
As does Heath Ledger, but of course it's mostly focused on this old man who thought his son was probably...
This was another weak moment for me, believe it or not. In the whole aspect that he's supposed to be acting blind. I didn't see it that much. Like, obviously you watch it and you're like, oh, he's supposed to be blind. But just the way, like, when he stood up and everything, I could see he was looking in William's eyes and all that. That was just a little flaw. He made up with that for how he was, like, so emotional about finding his son again.
You know, blind people can aim their heads, right?
Yes, I know, but how do you know which way?
They can point towards sound.
Still, I just don't think.
Okay, fine, that's fine. But yeah, he destroys your soul.
It was so emotional.
Tears
The
you
way he
apart.
starts crying. He does the way he tears up first, and you can tell he's just sort of
Yeah.
And then the tears go. You know.
They fill in all of his little wrinkles. Like, it's so sad. Okay, so full point for acting. Moving on to dialogue. I love the dialogue in this movie. It feels so natural and yet so old-timey.
Yeah.
Like, that's another part of, like, they're throwing in the old way of speak. Like, they're using the standard old way of speaking that you would in any show like that, but they're also throwing in some modern day...
It's not one of those medieval movies where you hear thy, thee, and all
Yeah,
that
they're
kind of
not
stuff.
going with all
It's
that.
like they're using the accents and the formality of how you would normally talk.
Some of,
like
like,
that.
the sentence structure and all
Yeah.
that.
But they don't use the whole, like, actual medieval vocabulary. And I feel like that, like,
And...
it just perfect.
Like one of my favorite villain quotes ever. Like, you have been weighed, you have been measured, and you have been found wanting. I love that. It's so good. It's such a good villain line. And there's so many other things. Like the comedy in this movie, all of it lands. At least for me, almost all of it lands.
Yeah.
And there are other lines in the change your stars line, like, that keeps coming up. Like, man can change his stars. Like, it's, when you actually start to think about it, it's like, I feel that.
I didn't, sadly, since I was just out of it today, I didn't pay too much attention to dialogue.
Yeah.
But I do remember from the first time I watched it, yeah, like you said, it impacted me.
Yeah.
I watched it, and the way it all played out, and the way, especially the change of stars, I was like, feel that.
I'm gonna change my stars. So yeah, let's just go ahead and move on. Full point for dialogue. 5 points in, 5 points earned. Visuals. What do you think on visuals?
I gave it a point.
I also gave it a point.
Okay, I thought you were about to go. I didn't. I gave it a point because I don't know why. This is the only jousting movie I've seen.
This is the jousting movie.
Yeah. So
Very
like
good reason.
since this is the only jousting movie, it's sort of biased, but still, I feel like
it looks so good.
They did a really
jousting
good
scenes
job.
are amazing.
And how, like, I don't know why, I feel like some other movies wouldn't do this. How, like, whenever you hit and all that, or the joust, just the way they break and all that, it's perfect. And, like, at the end, I felt like when he Adamar, when he had his fist on the end of it, and you know it had the spike under. I don't know. I feel like if somebody else tried to make this movie, he would just take it off. But the way they actually used something that he could like just crush.
Well, if he took it off, they would have seen. They would have been like, "Hey, you can't do that.
You can't do that." But like the way he just crushes it, and
speaking of that, just his fist lance is so cool.
It's perfect. But all of it, the arenas.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously,
it all looks great.
Obviously, they were real. They were actually set up because those were extras up in there. Because if they weren't, like going back to what we said earlier, how them talking, you could tell was just green screen.
Yeah.
So I feel like the visuals, the whole setting, all of it was good.
And I'm gonna actually go a bit into detail about the jousting scenes because the jousting, as far as visuals go, like most of it is them just kind of being in a place, and not to say that the visuals aren't good in those places, but it's a set, with lighting, it's standard. But the jousting scenes are the highlight of the visuals of this movie,
by far,
and they are incredible. Like they look so good, and they keep you so in the moment. And like the way they do, like they use like some movies use this stuff in a way, and I talked about this with Black Panther and their action scenes. Like it just didn't work out. But in this movie, the way they use slow motion and the way they use cuts and frame rates, like in the sword fighting scene, they mess with the frame rate a lot, and it's actually jumping a little bit. It's hard to notice, but it's there.
I know you mean like when it's sort of spinning around them and they're all moving at the same time.
Yeah, especially when you can see it a lot when the fight actually ends and they're like walking out. You can see like it's like
that's what I was saying.
And it works. It fits the and close-ups in the jousting scenes. Like they don't just focus on the dude either or the lance or anything. They focus on the horse. Like, when you see the horse leg, like all of it, it's so captivating. And then another thing I loved was as far as visuals. I have two more things to say as far as scenes. The cathedral scene. Where they're walking through the cathedral, like I don't know, it's used so well to like illustrate their use of like power shifting. Yeah, and like it just looks so good from the framing of the cathedral used to frame the shot. Like it looks so good. I don't know why I really love that scene.
It looks real,
and it's such a far shot. I don't know, it's great.
It looks real. That's what draws you in is when you can look at it and you're like, oh, that's fake. You look at it and you're like,
I don't know how we missed this on dialogue. You desecrate the house of God.
Just hand it back dialogue real quick.
That's one of the best moments.
Best lines is when the freaking whoever it was, would you call him a priest or
bishop? I don't know. I don't know what he was.
When he walks in, you desecrate the house of God. It was so perfect.
And he just walks off and like singing. Anyway, but back to visuals. The cathedral scene. It's amazing. What were you saying on it?
Oh, I'm done with what I said.
Okay. And then the other scene where the visuals are just great is, and it's part of acting as well, just the Adamar scene when he's in the battleground and he's getting all like the visuals, like it looks good.
It looks like they're actually
it looks like the world is reflecting his emotion of seeing Ulrich.
I'd like to point out, like I said earlier, he cares so much more about jousting than he does the actual.
Oh yeah, he cares so much more about jousting.
Screw the war.
He does the actual war.
Anyway, so full point.
Full point for visuals. 6 points in, 6 points earned.
Our favorite.
Number 7, soundtrack. Hell yeah, this movie gets the point for soundtrack. This movie has one of the best soundtracks of all time. I put it above freaking Top Gun.
I'd say it's equal for me.
Equal. I can leave it at equal. But the soundtrack for this movie, like, you kick off with "We Will Rock You," and it's used like the soundtrack is so essential to the movie.
And the way not only does it like matter to the movie, they like recreate it to
It's
where
in
people,
the movie.
yeah, like people are singing along to it.
Yeah, like that's one of the cornerstones of the movie is the first "We Will Rock You" scene when they're all like banging and clapping, and you have the horn doing the guitar.
Oh yeah,
like it's
guitar.
awesome. And like the thing about the soundtrack is like it's one of those things, and it's the biggest part. It's the most important part, especially with I think it's a David Bowie song in the dance room.
Yeah,
like it is what makes you really feel welcome in this medieval world. Like the music, because it's not like they would have been sitting there playing their dainty little music and been like, this is boring. They would have been like, hell yeah! Like they would have been like, we react to these songs. They would have loved that junk. And it fits so well.
I'm gonna go ahead and jump to one we're both waiting to talk about.
What? Adamar's theme song. I got that right there. So, like it's one of my favorite villain themes. It's the only villain theme song I can think of off the top of my head. Except
Darth
for Darth
Vader's
Vader.
like,
Don't even bring that up.
But that's
John Williams is another story.
That's beside the point.
His theme, it's so subtle.
It's like
so good.
It's like honestly my favorite part because you hear it in most other parts, but like I can't remember the exact scene where it's like sort of quiet and all you hear is his
Is it?
His
Are you talking about the war scene?
It might have been where it's like you hear it quietly and then it just starts progressing.
Yeah,
and you're like, shit's going down.
Like you hear that first little dun dun dun. You're like, here it goes. Here's the drop. Dun. You're like, yeah, kill somebody. I love this movie so much.
It's so good.
Okay. I think we just about covered all soundtrack right there. There's nothing more to say. It's amazing.
So full point for soundtrack.
Moving on to tone.
Wait, okay, remind me again.
Tone is like bringing together soundtrack, visuals, dialogue, what's actually happening in the plot.
Basically, like how you feel.
And it's half of like the way I kind of judge tone for me is if I get taken out of the movie at any point, that's kind of a tick on tone for me.
Meaning,
and like,
by taking out, you mean like not interested?
No, it's like if something happens that I like,
you don't feel like
I lose my immersion in the movie, and I'm like,
meaning you don't feel like you're in it anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you can even like a comedy movie, you can be watching it and you can be in the movie the entire time. Like what's around the TV doesn't exist.
Yeah.
But like something happens and you think like, oh, and you remember that you're watching a movie. Like you shouldn't have to remember that you're watching a movie during a movie.
So I think of the like glasses, you forget you have them on.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of how I judge tone, but yeah, it has to do with the soundtrack and the visuals, all of it coming together and being tonally consistent throughout the movie.
Okay.
But yeah, so tone, what'd you think?
I give the point. Yeah.
Yeah, I give the point too. Yeah, like there's never a single moment in this movie that I'm taken out of it.
It's the way it just draws you in and makes you feel like you're not only a part of it, but you're like an actual, not one of those characters, but you like, yeah, you just feel like you're in it.
Yeah, like
it's
you forget you're watching a movie, which you should when you're watching a movie.
Yeah.
It's
if you're really into it. If it's a bad, if you get drawn out, you know it's not really.
Yeah, like Black Panther. Black Panther drew me out multiple times.
I still have not seen it.
Still haven't seen it, but yeah, it drew me out a lot. And that's not to say it's a bad movie.
It's a racial movement.
No, Bright is a racial movement. Black Panther is just a good movie that has to do with race.
I mean, there's not really too much to say on top.
I think I marked a full point. I don't know, whatever. Yeah, I mean, the acting always changes appropriately. Like, there's never an abrupt comedy spurt in the middle of something that needs to be serious. There's nothing like that. Like, the acting, all these characters are able to adjust from comedy to seriousness perfectly. Like, there's no clash there. And of course, the music plays into it so much. Like the music is used.
Will Rock You, the theme song, the one at the dance.
You feel everything you're supposed to feel in this movie. That being said, 8 points in, 8 points earned. let's move on to Impact.
It impacted my life.
Now, this movie had a very personal impact for me.
Because you like grew up on it?
Yes.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna say that gives it the full point for me. I'm still actually working on Impact in my mind. Because I have thoughts on Impact, and then I have thoughts against Impact. I'm wavering back and forth on it.
I honestly, I can say I am too. For the reason that I pointed out earlier, like how this time I wasn't on the edge of my seat. I don't know. It's weird.
One thing is it has generally not great reviews for whatever reason that may be.
Yeah.
Don't know why, but
because people are
so it wasn't really critically loved. And of course, like I said, I'm the only I've never met someone that has seen this movie before I got to this.
So I guess we can say it made a big impact on us, but
another
for
thing
most of the world.
Another thing I'm going to say is, and this is kind of reaching maybe, I'm not sure, but you say you've never seen anybody but Heath Ledger in this movie before. Which I find absurd, and I could list some things off that might change your mind about that. Specifically,
off the top of my head, I can't think of it.
Specifically with Alan Tudyk. I know you've seen Alan Tudyk before.
Where?
Somewhere.
Where?
You want to know where? Okay, let me see if I can list off all of the Alan Tudyk roles. I can't, but have you seen iRobot?
No.
Okay, you should. Good movie. Have you seen Moana?
Yes.
He plays the chicken.
Okay, that's voice acting. I haven't.
Well, he does a lot of voice acting too.
I haven't seen
You've seen the Transformers movies.
Yes.
He plays Dutch. I know that's a little reaching there.
Which one is?
He's you know the.
He's the one that transforms. You know.
What is it? Sector 7? Is that what it's called?
Dude, I don't watch Transformers really. So.
Okay, he's in that too. Okay, but basically, Alan Tudyk is an icon. He's played it. Did he play Wall-E? He's played another robot that I can't think of at the moment. He played K2SO.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
There it is.
Yeah, no, but this movie was like his breakout role. None of his movies before this even matter. Like, this movie introduced the world Alan Tudyk, and the world loves Alan Tudyk.
Except for the people who think there's too many Justins.
That's my main point going towards impact, and then my personal impact from this movie. I don't know. I'm really on the fence about it. What are your thoughts?
I can't say much. I mean, I'm sort of unsure about it.
I think what this means, I think just being so on the fence about it, I don't think I can give it the point for impact.
Like, none at all.
No such thing as half a point.
So we at least made it to...
Well, hold your horses. Let's go. So, no point for impact. Final point. Opinion point.
I'm gonna give it.
Yeah.
Give it a point.
No content. This is my favorite movie ever. I don't care what anybody says about it. This movie's freaking amazing, and I will fight you on that every time. So 10 points in, 9 points earned. We now have, of course, our option. Each of us can add half a point to this movie. I'm giving it my half a point. I think this movie deserves a 10 out of 10, and I'm going to get it as close as I possibly can. So I'm bringing it up.
Yeah.
Half a point.
Yeah, I'm going to give it my half a point, too.
You heard it here, people! The first movie on the Toasty Show to achieve a full 10 out of 10. A Knight's Tale. The best of the best.
We can't stress it enough. If you have not seen this movie,
Please go watch this movie.
See it.
It's
Honestly,
so good.
It's not on Netflix, sadly, but it really does not cost that much to rent.
And if you don't like it, I don't understand your brain. I'm sorry.
All right, so yeah, first 10 out of 10.
I'm
honored to be on this episode.
I wanted this. Like, I could live with Princess Bride being a 9.5. This movie had to be a 10 out of 10 for me. I couldn't live with it not being a 10 out of 10. Okay, so we're going to wrap up here. Once more for closure, official rating, 10 out of 10.
Perfect score. Go follow us on all of our social media accounts. Facebook is just The Toasty Show. Twitter, Instagram, _Toasty_show. Drop in the comments on Instagram, whatever social media account you decide to visit, especially YouTube. We would really appreciate if you did there. Anything you would like us to review. Whether it could be... Are we bringing up food yet?
Food will be later, but we'll get to that in the next in a Monday episode. Sorry for such a long video, but I'm really passionate about this movie and I had a lot to say because I had to defend it against stupid critics. Suck it, critics. 10 out of 10. Next up is our discussion portion of the episode, and we'll see you there.